When one assassinates a president, the consequential repercussions apply to entire nations at a time. So influential are these crimes that we can easily recall the name of a victim from over 100 years ago. But many are surprised to find out that the headline names of Lincoln and JFK are not the only two who have fallen to these national acts of malice. Throughout history, there is a lack of remembrance of the assassination of President James A. Garfield. On the 2nd of July, 1881, Garfield was brutally shot by a man named Charles Guiteau, resulting in his untimely death. It would be ignorant to assert that the lack of attention surrounding this issue deems it unimportant. Due to the motive behind this murder and the acts implemented after it took place, the assassination of President Garfield was the catalyst for the political reforms that took place during the late 1800s. On the surface, the motive behind Garfield's assassination was revenge, but it is rooted in something much deeper than political agendas. During the election of 1880, Guiteau decided to involve himself in politics by changing a previously written speech for Ulysses Grant to one that supported Garfield's campaign. When Garfield went on to win the presidency, Guiteau fell under the delusion that he was somehow responsible for Garfield's victory. Due to this, he felt that, in return for his loyalty, Garfield owed him a government job. This presidential practice of granting government jobs to loyal supporters was known as patronage, and it defined the corrupt and ineffective politics of the late 1800s. Garfield, refusing to follow in the steps of his predecessors, denied the undeserving Guiteau a job, thus creating his motive for revenge. A nation that was once so blind suddenly had first-hand exposure to the unethical practices transpiring behind closed doors. Granting power to those who do not truly deserve it paves the path for the destruction of democracy. Garfield's fatal decision to ignore the patronage system forced the citizens to see the broken political system before them, which ultimately fueled reform through the passage of the Pendleton Act of 1883. This act ensured that the appointment process for government jobs was based off qualifications measured by exams rather than loyalty to a particular candidate. In today's day and age, presidents now appoint fewer than 1% of all federal positions, meaning that the act was ultimately a success in limiting the possible areas of corruption available to a president. And through Garfield's unfortunate death, our nation's political integrity was reborn. Before Garfield took his last breath, it was business as usual in D.C. Through the adoption of the Pendleton Act, the appointment process for government jobs further supported the prosperity of the nation. Garfield's death was a result of an unprincipled system that was sanctioned by so many before him, thus it incited necessary reforms. Enticing offers of power can drive people to lunacy, thus we must never turn a blind eye to any form of corruption within our political system. Let us stand up against all injustices and corruptions that are apparent in our nation today, and remember that there is always room for reform as we strive towards political perfection.